prophecy of eyes of fire. Christ has eyes of flames of fire, but what does that mean, and what does the prophecy mean about that? Let's look into the scripture here. Looking at the parables about the eyes, it says in Matthew chapter 6, verse 22 and 23, "The light of the body is the eye, and if there thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. But if thine eye be evil, the whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness?" This parable is teaching that if your eye is set on good and obeying the law, your whole body will be filled with light. But if your body and your eye is filled with darkness by disobeying the law and filling it with sin, then your whole body will be filled with darkness, and you'll walk in darkness because you do not keep the commandments. Proverbs chapter 6, verse 23 says, "For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and the reproofs of instruction are the way of life." So let's look at this. It says that the law is light. It says here that the law is light. But what does Matthew chapter 6, verse 22 say? It says that if your eye is full of light, right, then your whole body will be full of light, correct? Chapter 6, verse 22. "The light of the body is the eye, and if therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light." Christ is talking here about the eye and the light that comes into the eye to be able to see. You cannot see without the light. You cannot see without a lamp in the dark. And this is how you know between light and darkness. The separation of light and darkness is through the law. The law tells you what sin is and darkness is, right? So if you take the name of the Lord in vain, you're walking in darkness. If you commit adultery and your eye looks upon a woman lusting, right? It's full of darkness. You're committing adultery, right? You're walking in darkness. If you're coveting and looking over there and coveting, you are committing sin. You are breaking the law, and you are convicted as a transgressor of the law, walking in darkness, right? So this is how you know whether or not it's light or dark. It's based upon whether or not you're obeying the law or breaking the law. This is the very elementary, simple fact. Christ meeting them on the road in Luke chapter 24, verse 25 through 32, begins to talk about the law first. He begins to explain to them, the disciples who couldn't see him. Watch this. "Then he said unto them, O fools, and slow of heart to believe all that the prophets have spoken. Ought not Christ to have suffered these things and to enter into his glory? And beginning at Moses," here we go, beginning at Moses. This is after Christ had resurrected. Christ had already resurrected, and he begins to teach at Moses, right, to the disciples. And then he says, "And all the prophets," which is the what? Law and the prophets, right? "From the beginning at the law and the prophets, he what? Expounded unto them in all the scriptures the things concerning Christ. And they said in their hearts during that time that their hearts burned with fire," right? Like a lamp burning their hearts. Luke chapter 24, verse 32. "And they said one to another, Did not our hearts burn within us while he talked with us by the way, and while he opened to us the scriptures?" What were their hearts burning with? They are burning with the fire of the law in their heart as he began to expound on them from the law, right, himself. It's very simple. Very simple. Their hearts were burning with the flame of fire from the law. Hebrews chapter 8, verse 10 talks about the law in your heart for those actually in the covenant of Christ. "For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts. And I will be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people." So we see here the burning heart of fire and the law written in the heart for the New Testament. And we see that Christ has eyes, his eye full of fire. Watch this. Revelation chapter 1, verse 14. "His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire." His eyes were as a flame of fire. And what does Christ say is if your eye is full of light, that your whole body will be filled with light. And if your eye and your heart is like a lamp, right? The commandments are like a lamp, as in Proverbs says. Your heart will burn with fire, and your whole body will be as fire, and eyes coming out with fire. It's the law. Ezekiel talks about seeing Christ. Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 26 and 27. And above the firmament that was over their heads was the likeness of a throne, as the appearance of a sapphire stone, and upon the likeness of the throne was the likeness as the appearance of a man above upon it. Ready? And I saw as the color of amber. What is amber? It's like fire, right? As the appearance of fire round about within it. From the appearance of his loins even upward, from the appearance of his loins even downward, I saw as it were the appearance of fire, and it had brightness round about. So his body was surrounded by fire and light. You get it? The brightness of the light and the burning brightness of the amber of fire. His body had light and fire all around his body. Remember what he says? If your eye is full of light, your whole body will be full of light. If your eye is full of fire, your whole heart and your whole body will be filled with fire. That's exactly what he's saying here. Proverbs chapter 6, verse 23 should become even more clearer now. For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light. And when Moses was given the law, was he not given the law through the burning bush, the tree of life, on the mount? The fiery law that was given to him? Deuteronomy chapter 33, verse 2. And he said, The Lord came from Mount Sinai and rose up from Seir unto them. He shined forth from Mount Paran, and he came with 10,000s of saints from his right hand when a fiery law for them. His throne issued forth a flaming fire from his throne. Watch this. Daniel chapter 7, verse 9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like a fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. The throne of fire, the eyes of fire, the heart of fire. The law is fire and light, right? The law was delivered from a fiery tree, a burning bush, which is the tree of life, consumed with the fire of God, which is the commandments of God. That's why you cannot enter into the gates of the city, and you can't have the tree of life without keeping the commandments of God in the book of Revelation, chapter 22, verse 15 and 14. Yeah, the law is fire. And the Son of God is filled with fire and light. Revelation chapter 2, verse 18 says, And unto the angel of the church of Thyatira write, These things saith the Son of God, who hath his eyes like unto a flame of fire, and his feet are like fine brass. And on Christ's return, he returns with eyes of flames of fire. Revelation chapter 19, verse 12, His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns, and he had a name written on it that no man knew but himself. Christ's eyes issue forth flames of fire as he looks upon the earth with the law, with pure judgment. And that is the fire, the commandments, and the law in which he judges the nations. And this is the prophecy of the fire eyes.